Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Reduce your quality reporting time by 75%, brought to you by HiQA. I'm Lisa Sterling, your host and moderator for today's session. But before we get started, I would like to mention just a couple of housekeeping items. We do invite you to ask questions throughout the presentation by typing into your Q&A tab, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen, as your phone is muted throughout the session. We will address the questions received at the end of the presentation. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available for playback in just a few days. I would now like to introduce you for our presenters for today. We have John Cubitt, Chief Revenue Officer at HiQA, as well as Chris Mendocino, Vice President of Product, also here at HiQA. And with that, I would like to turn the floor over to John to get us started.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we're excited to talk through and walk through how HiQA can help get rid of all the paper and manual processes and confusion. Our concept is with eDocs, the digital manufacturing quality documents, where we can store, manage, and collaborate with others and creating reports in just hours instead of days. A little bit about HiQA. We have over 1,300 customers in 5 continents, over 2,000 users worldwide. One of our key concepts here at HiQA is data security and collaboration and mindset. We're a very customer-driven culture here and listen to our customers, which allows us to help and improve your processes. Yeah, a little bit about our new concept with 360 and HiQA Hub. It's a one platform where we can manage both internal and external, all your quality management in one solution. Our vision here at HiQA is to simplify and automate your manufacturing quality process. To produce things on time, on budget, and on quality. Our values are with true innovation, integrity, and teamwork. And today, what we're going to talk through a little bit is the reporting side, but we're all in one solution with quality planning, inspection, reporting, to really promote all your quality standards. And I think I'm going to let Chris Mendocino take it away from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. All right. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining and taking the time with us here today. So what we're going to do is kind of go through sort of a overview of the main areas that we cover within our product. So you get kind of a picture of the full scope of what we address. Now, what we're focusing on today, or what we're highlighting in particular within this session, is the reporting aspects and some of what we do there that's fairly unique and innovative, and will bring a lot of value to what you guys are doing. But we need some context to understand really what's driving those reports. And so that's where we're going to get into some of the inspection planning, the production data and analysis, reporting and submission, and then the supplier collaboration. So we're going to kind of give a well-rounded view while highlighting one area in particular, which is going to be the reporting aspect. So let's give some context then. A little bit of introduction here. I'll apologize ahead of time because for some reason my PowerPoint seems laggy and I don't know why. So I'll do my best to work around that. But here we are. We're going to start here with our dashboards, as you can see. And this one in particular is highlighting a quality manager's dashboard, something that's personalized to them and their role. And here you can see we're highlighting that they can see 2 NCRs that are assigned to them, as well as 5 FAIs. So one of the key things about our system is we're tying together a whole bunch of pieces from inspection planning all the way through to the final reporting with data collection and analytics in between. And having all of that data in one system gives you this nice starting point here of when you open the system up for your day, it's telling you exactly what you need to be paying attention to. Okay. and things that you should be aware of, and that thereby kind of driving your day-to-day activities. Okay. So let's kind of start at the beginning with a brand new part. So whether you're starting with a 3D model or a 2D drawing, you plan your quality with intentionality. With one click, you can automatically balloon and extract quality requirements, add depth and detail to your inspection plans in minutes by assigning things like gauge categories, criticality, SBC target metrics, and even assign operation steps like what you see here to add more depth and context to your inspection plans. Okay. So in this here, what we're showing, we just got done with auto ballooning this drawing. And so we want to take a look at some of the attributes which are automatically applied to our dimensions, some of the automation that we're bringing in the system. There were some default sampling rules that were applied, and we want to modify this a little bit with some of the characteristics. Over here, we have some of the default gauge categories that were applied based on our default gauge category rules that you can see here on the screen. So based on the dim type, we are assigning gauge categories automatically. So you can set up kind of a central business logic within your organization. Okay, so that's kind of finalizing what we call our design requirements. And then we're able to step into what we call manufacturing quality planning, where we're adding the real context for how a part moves through your operations, and then how you define all of your inspection criteria per operation step. Okay, so you can see 3 operations that we applied here is milling, drilling, and the finished part operation. Okay. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on some of these operations here. So this op 10, we're going to take all 3 of these and we're going to assign a sampling rule. Okay, so we're going to say that at this operation, we want to assign or we want to inspect these dimensions as a 1 per x. Okay, or a 1 in 5, right? The rule is 1 per x, but we assign our value. And then we'll move on to the next operation here, where we're going to take all of these ones, okay, and we're going to apply a different sampling rule. We're going to choose to inspect these ones at this operation per an AQL table, okay? So just showing you some of the variety of options that are applied there. This is all driving logic in the system in the background, driving your sampling tables and so on, okay? So this last operation here that we're going to work on, we're going to grab just the diameter dim types, okay? So just showing that we can grab all of those pretty seamlessly with a couple of hotkeys there. And we're going to set a target CPK value, and we're going to tell the system that we want to monitor these dimensions for SBC during our in-process inspection stages. Okay, so we're always collecting that SBC data, but this is actually telling the system that, hey, when I pull up a dashboard for this part, I want to see these particular dimensions driving the dashboard, the SBC dashboard for this operation. Okay, so the data is always there, but this is kind of driving some of our default behaviors once we get to data collection. Okay. So once we're done with our inspection planning, the inspectors can simply scan QR codes to bring up their inspection plans. They can even get in-process SBC analytics in real time available to them as they're inputting their inspection data. We collect data from virtually any measurement equipment in the world. It doesn't matter if it's a CMM vision system, it could be scanners or different types of arms or anything that will output some sort of digital data set as the results. And we can also collect manually inspected data as well. So you're kind of getting that collaboration between the two. Here, I'll back up here in that clip. Whoop. We'll see if I can battle it out with okay, I'm losing the battle with PowerPoint. Apparently, I can't do that. So I was saying that we can manually collect data as well by giving intuitive interfaces so that users can pull up the inspection plan, see what they're responsible for inspecting at each operation stage, and input their results data with as much context as is needed. Okay. So on to kind of the primary highlight for today's session, and that's the reporting and submission side of what we do within our system. So given sort of the context of we're collecting all of that results data built off of intentional and comprehensive inspection plans. From there, we're leveraging all of that into a comprehensive reporting environment as well. So we're going to talk about here how we can plan for the report requirements. You'll see how that works. And also the nature of the reports and how we approach that as a company. Because we feel a report shouldn't just be something that you output into Excel, into the ether, because then it's really, if we were to do that, we're putting it on you to determine how to manage all of your reports and such, right? So a lot of you today probably work with Excel-driven reports that you store in some sort of file share network somewhere, and then you have to keep track of kind of the status of all those manually. If somebody asks, "Hey, what's the status of this FAI? Is it done? Was it sent out?" You have to come up with other tools to kind of figure out how to track all that. So that's not the case in our system, though. Within our system, we kind of handle all of that internally, and you'll see how right here in a second. So let's start with an example report here. You can see that we have a natively generated report here. This is an AS9102 template that comes default in our system. And this is all at a job level so that you're able to track submission packages that you're able to send to each of your customers on a per job basis. So you can see the results data here that was brought in, as well as the other form data. And so we can interact with these forms. Anything that's a yellow field, we can just type into, like so. We might have checkboxes. We might have drop-down fields with predetermined options. You might have date fields, etc. So it's a very intuitive, interactive kind of report. Now, this report, yeah. So that's the nature of the report, is just the application inside of the product here. So if we go to the next one here, you'll see that each of the reports has a digital workflow associated with it. Okay. So right now we're starting off in draft, and the QC inspector, we can see who's assigned as that QC inspector. When they're ready with the draft and they're satisfied, they can submit it for review by the QC or the quality manager. The quality manager can sign or decline it. If they decline it, it's going to go to a reject status back to the QC inspector, or they can sign it and it'll be marked as a completed document. Okay. And so what we want to do here is go back and we'll take a look at the report itself. Once I'm done kind of interacting with this and filling this up as a draft and entering in any content that's needed, I can then go up and submit the report for review, just like the workflow that we saw the template outline in the other tab there. Okay, so that's my action item that I just selected. And now this is marked as a read only and it's ready for signature. Okay. So moving on to the next step, we're presuming that we are the signer now, and we can see that this is a read-only document that has the signature there. I would have received an alert as the signer responsible for this, and I have a couple options through the workflow to sign or decline it. Okay, so it's as simple as I just click to sign it. I enter in my PIN just to authenticate my signature. And there we go. We have a digital signature entered into our document. And I can just confirm that here and advance it through the workflow. So it's now a completed document that is ready to send to my customer. Okay, all of my data is ready to go. And I can just click send by email up top here to be able to send it to my customer with full traceability in the system of every time that something was sent or anytime some document was opened or worked with. So this is very reminiscent of something like a DocuSign type product, which is a bit more common in sort of like the legal world, or if you bought a house recently or something, you probably worked with a DocuSign type tool. But this gives you guys the power to really design your own report templates and lay these out however you want. So you're basically enshrining your business logic and business standards in a common platform that everyone has access to and everyone's driven by. Okay. So on to the next step. So just understanding that, yes, we have the simple report like an AS 9102 in here, but really we can get much more comprehensive. But let's first understand that we track all of our reports using what we call an index. It's basically a checklist of all the documents required for each job that you run in your system. Okay, so these could be dependent on customer requirements you might have. Okay, so it could be up to a full PPAP, it could be just an FAI, it could be just like raw material certs or something like that that you have to pass over to your customer. It's really up to you and how you define those standards. So as you work on all of these different types of reports, you eventually roll them into a package at the end of the process, a final submission package. Okay. And so you can see that here, just an example of this, where we rolled all those reports into one aggregated multi-page PDF, like so. So this is something that's finalized that can be able to, that can be sent down to your customers, okay, for them to review and get back to you on that, okay? So again, even the packages can be sent directly via email through the system, like so. Okay. And once you do that, if you are directly emailing them, you get a little icon here to show you that this document or this package was emailed previously. So it's like a trace history that you get on it. And you can see here that I can see that it was sent by email. I can see who the recipient was and who sent it at what date and time. So that's really what this is about, right? Is taking your reporting to the next level, your document control to the next level. Not just, preparing some forms in Excel and sending them off as a PDF, right? You're planning again with intentionality, the same way we're planning our inspections with intentionality. We're planning our reporting with intentionality in the document requirements, right? Building a system around our standards and requirements and our business logic rather than just leaving it to chance or leaving it to people to follow strict policy and so on. Because, we're all fallible. We all make mistakes from time to time in spite of best intentions. And so the more rigorous we can build our systems and our workflows and our business logic, the more likely it is that we all stay on track and follow the standard processes, right? So taking that, extending now beyond our internal manufacturing, let's see how we can better manage your supply chain quality as well. So HighQA Hub is a supplier quality management software. It leverages 360 so you can share, collaborate, manage, and monitor data with suppliers and customers from an all-in-one manufacturing-driven database with quality processes at the center. Whether your suppliers already use HQA 360 or not, the experience is the same effectively. Your quality requirements and part data are sent to them in real time, reducing interpretation errors. Suppliers can input measurements collected from any source, giving you visibility of production data as it occurs. And they can complete their submission documents. So you can, using the same tools that we showed here, the supplier has those same tools down on their side to fill in those e-documents, to manage everything through workflows that you define for them and how they're going to interact and exchange data with you. Okay, so you're kind of setting the rules by establishing this platform or this system in the business logic so that your suppliers are not only just complying with your standards, but they're actually able to be much more efficient and thrive with them. Okay. So let's look at a brief example of this. So you as a buyer, you've just received 2 notifications. All right, let's take a look at this NCR that we have here, and we can see exactly which feature failed on the part that was inspected by your supplier. Once we're done, the workflow will notify the supplier of our disposition, and we can check out the FAI that was sent by them as well. We have signature power over on our side as well. We can sign that, send it back to them, and the supplier is notified. So all of these interactions, the whole platform is designed for that collaborative mindset, that engagement with your internal teams as well as your external teams, your suppliers. Okay. So when it comes to on-prem or cloud, both HQA 360 and HQA Hub are built on the most secure infrastructure available. They're hosted in AWS GovCloud. Your data is fully encrypted both at rest and in transit through our state-of-the-art end-to-end encryption protocols. Fully ITAR compliant, we also have built-in digital rights management, letting you manage with which specific users in your network and among your suppliers can access specific content. Okay. Understanding that high QA products fit into a larger network, our software solutions, the software solutions that we offer run integrated with all of your other business systems that you have. So you can see ERP, MES, PLM, even gauge management systems. Like we said before, we're pulling CMM data directly from either CMMs, vision systems, etc., or any other third-party apps. That's due to a comprehensive API that we offer. So we can connect to virtually any system. We also have connectors that are off the shelf that connect to specific ERP or gauge management products that we already have productized those connectors. So if you have one of those ERP systems that we've already worked with in the past, then you can purchase something that's more off the shelf instead of a tailored solution. Okay, so there's a lot of options there when it comes to dealing with systems integration like that. Okay. So regarding support and services, HiQA delivers enterprise-ready solutions with all the support and services you need to bring your teams to the next level. Our implementation specialists are passionate about quality and will partner with you to ensure smooth onboarding of your internal teams and your suppliers. You can see here an example of one of our Academy course certificates that's issued when one of your users finishes one of our online courses. Okay, so we have intense online courses that bring you through everything that you're going to need to know. That's just the starting point for the onboarding. It gets you a really firm foundation and understanding of how our systems work so that we can then coach and consult with you on actually applying the system to your business, okay? So applying it to your particular rules, your particular drawings and parts, and how your company operates, okay? So in recap, in short, we're working to get rid of any paper that you guys have in your facility. When it comes to quality management, everything can be digital in one system. As you saw, all of your reports, all of your forms and such related to quality can all be handled inside of an application instead of spread across file share networks, okay? We can generate, monitor, store, deliver, and collaborate on digital manufacturing quality documents, or what we call e-documents, okay? All right, and producing those quality reports in hours versus days, saving you tons of time through that collaboration effort and through having all of the data in your system digitally connected in one database. Okay. And with that, I think we're passing back over to John, if you wanted to highlight some of the case studies that we were working on.
Yes.
Or that we had put out.
This is a great case study from one of our customers at JD Machine that they went out to search for a new system and ended up picking HiQA, and some of their requirements from their customers and their internal inspections, all their SBC, they found that HiQA offered the overall best solution, and it's really helped them scale and grow as they've been implementing it. And other couple of nice quotes from our customers, and one that I really like the most is how it's just a complete game changer. People that were one of our customers, Lewis Industries, had said that at one point they were doing 5 to 10 FAI reports a month, and now they're down to doing 5 to 10 a day, which is remarkable. So great to hear our feedback from our customers. Now we're just going to open up the floor to any questions from the group here.
Yes, thank you so much, John, and also Chris. As John mentioned, at this time, we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. You can submit your question by typing into the Q&A tab, which is at the bottom of your screen there, or the chat. We did have a couple of questions come in, so let's go ahead and take a look. The first one says, is this software a SaaS solution?
Yeah, so I can take that. Yeah, so our software products are offered in two flavors. So we always, because of the nature of our customer base, we do a lot of defense work, aerospace work that's heavily ITAR controlled, and CMMC and so on, has a lot of strict security standards. So we, as a company, have decided that we will always have both options of on-prem or SaaS. So whichever one you're comfortable with. The SaaS solutions are actually a little bit newer for us. They're coming out towards the end of the year. So historically, we've been primarily on-prem. Okay. But that is something that we're going to be offering fairly soon as well. So it really depends on your preference. In the next few months, it'll be up to you.
Great, thanks, Chris. Okay, here's the next question. It says, how long does it take to get up and running on the HiQA software?
That's actually a really good question, which I had a lengthy conversation with some of our team members about at Panera yesterday, because we were digging into some of that. So yeah, it really when it comes to like the length of time, it really depends on you guys and your teams in a lot of ways. As I hinted at the academy courses that we offer to help with getting up to speed and learning the theory behind the application as quickly as possible. Those courses we've gotten a ton of amazing feedback on the academy that we've built. It's really helping companies grasp how the system works at really fast rates. It's substantially faster than how we used to do things, where we did a lot of in-person sessions and so on. And you can tend to wander a little bit with Q&A, but the academy courses really bring you down a streamlined path of exactly how to absorb the knowledge in what sequence and so on. And so then we backfill that with consulting time, where we work with you to say, okay, now you understand the theory and roughly what you're targeting for. Now, what do we want to do what are some of the questions that you have about your specific business needs and requirements and the types of parts you work with? So that whole process is really up to you and your teams and how fast you want to move. And we're here to accommodate to you in any way that we can. Just to give some rough numbers, we typically will see kind of like all the ballooning and inspection planning take place over the first 4 to 6 weeks or so. You'll go through and you can convert all of your processes over in roughly that time frame, and then then you start to move into like data collection on the shop floor and all of your reporting pieces, the advanced reporting you may be wanting to do, and that typically is anywhere between like 4 to 6 weeks again for that phase as well. All right, but again, it's really dependent on your teams and how flexible you're able to be.
Perfect. Thanks again, Chris. Okay, at this time, it looks like we're at the half hour, which we're keeping the session particularly short, just so that we don't take up too much of your time. However, if the webinar perked your interest, I did put a link in the chat there if you'd like to request a one-on-one personalized demonstration next. We invite you to do that. If we want to the next slide, we'll go ahead and put our contact information up there as well. Feel free to reach out to us with any additional questions that come to mind later on. We're happy to help. Again, this webinar is being recorded, and I will be sending it out via email in the next couple of days if you would like to watch the playback or share it with your colleagues. Thanks so much for spending the half an hour with us. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah,
thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.